This video is not intended to be a treatment guide for cancer patients. All patients should make choices with a consultation of their healthcare providers. The choices and outcomes of the people you are about to see are specific to their cases, but much of what they learned and felt is not uncommon for cancer survivors today.
I think Sam and I both thought things like this just don't happen to us.
The possibility of cancer always was in the back of my mind, but you always think to yourself, not me.
Dede and Jackie are two people who lived in different neighborhoods, with different careers and social circles. They may have never met, but a frightening event would join their paths and change their lives completely. This person has traveled through hell and back, and now her last radiation treatment is only moments away. Her name is Jackie. She's a wife and mother who usually works as a nurse, but this is one nurse that has been a patient for way too long. Today's a milestone in her journey that began 6 months ago when she first heard the news.
When she told me that I had cancer, it was like I had a little angel on my shoulder that was saying, don't worry about it, you're gonna be fine. And I sat down for a minute, and then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? Dr. Bowler told me I had breast cancer. But then I still had that little thing on my shoulder that said, you're gonna be all right. I was like, well, I'll be fine. I'm not gonna worry about it.
One of her sons shot this footage the day she met her doctor to determine the best way to treat the disease. She is about to have both breasts removed, followed by chemotherapy and then radiation therapy. On the eve of her treatments, she goes out with her sons for one last fun activity. If her cancer were caught at an earlier stage, she would not have needed all these therapies. If it were caught any later, she may have died. With cancer, early detection is everything.
I hear from women all the time that I didn't get a mammogram and didn't get my routine checkups because I was the mother and the important part of the family, and there wasn't time for me. I always want to say to those women that I recognize your crucial role as the center part of the family, and the best way that you can serve that family is by doing these screening tests for early detection. Because if you don't do screening and get detected early and you're lost to that family, they've lost their center. If you're a single parent, you better get breast cancer screening, or those kids are going to be without anybody.
8 years before Jackie was diagnosed with cancer, Dede and her husband Sam were a hard-working couple who had demanding jobs. Dede was a commercial lender who often commuted to other cities. This ambitious working mom thrived in her position as a bank vice president. Then, one day, doctors discovered she had advanced colon cancer.
We've always been so fortunate and worked hard, and we've just been lucky, and things have always, turned out well for us. And then just whammo, just blindsided with this cancer. And then they removed 2/3 of my colon. And then I went through 12 rounds of chemotherapy over a course of 6 months. I just had lots and lots and lots of problems in recovery. It was a very tough situation. It was painful and scary and emotional, and I don't even like to think about it, really, to tell you the truth.
It is very common for patients who have cancer to have many symptoms, including pain. Palliative care is available to patients right from the time of diagnosis with a serious illness. While they're going through their chemo, while they're going through treatment, palliative care is available to help manage their symptoms. Hospice is palliative care at the end of life when a patient has a 6 months prognosis or less. So many people don't realize that palliative care should be accessed right at the time of diagnosis if there's pain and symptoms and the patient and the family need help. It's an extra layer of support.
Dede's colon cancer could have been detected earlier and treated easily if she had a colonoscopy at the generally recommended age of 50.
And looking back, I should have, because I was 52 when I was diagnosed.
The thing that gives me the most satisfaction at the end of the day are doing colonoscopies, because for every polyp that we remove, certainly every precancerous polyp that we remove, that's a patient who never made it that far, that I never had to operate on, that never had to go through what Dede Cargill went through, who never had to explain to her family that he or she has cancer and that they may die.
Jackie began to experience a host of side effects over the next several weeks of treatments.
The surgery wasn't really that bad. I mean, they took the breast, they took the lymph nodes. Chemotherapy was really bad. Both my hands and my feet became black. I also lost all my fingernails. I'd never seen anything like it. You know, and you lose your hair. And I even lost toenails.
There wouldn't be much time to recover from chemotherapy because she began radiation therapy.
That's when my skin began to really burn. You know, it became very difficult to eat, and I wasn't enjoying my days anymore. I spent more time asleep than I did awake. Chemotherapy caused my hands and my feet and my face to all become numb and quite painful. Some days it was like, wow, I can't believe I hurt this bad. It was amazing that it hurt as bad as it did.
Jackie's family, friends, and co-workers stepped up to show their support, organizing a bake sale to help pay for expenses.
Are you guys making a gift for somebody?
Yeah, it's for our mom.
Her sons gave her a doll to provide comfort through the painful nights. She named him Jelly, the cancer-fighting bear.
Well, I have the most amazing support team ever. My husband and my sons were like, they were super fam.
Did you eat them in a box or did you eat them with a fox?
They did everything for me. You know, they cooked, they cleaned, they washed clothes. When people came to the house and they were like, wow, the house is so clean. I'm like, I didn't do anything, the kids did it. Joe did it. They packed my wounds, emptied my drains, helped me take off my shirt, kissed me, hugged me. They really and truly took care of me. I'm welling up with tears because they took care of me so well. I mean, it's, you know, I've always been mom. Not only mom, I've always been super mom. So whenever my family needed me, I was always there for them. If they got sick, I was there to the doctor's office. And then it came that when I got sick, you know, there they were, taking me to the doctor's office, fixing me my soup, just showing me that they love me.
After weeks in darkness, Dede decided to fight back by getting up and taking a walk. Despite the surgery, despite the fact that she was still taking chemotherapy, she walked.
At first she could barely get outside to pick up the newspaper and come back in, but gradually we walked down to the end of the block, and then we walked around the block and, you know, down to the park and so on, and pretty soon she was walking to chemotherapy.
It got to be where I walked whether it was cold or whether it was rainy or whatever. I got out and took a walk.
She walked beyond her treatment period until she was completely cured. Then she invited other cancer survivors to walk with her.
She encouraged me. At the time, I was just walking around the living room just to get up out of my chair. I wasn't very strong. But the very next day, I think, I went out and walked to the end of the street and back. My husband had to go with me, and ever since then, I've walked almost every single day.
She and Sam started giving out pedometers, challenging everyone to walk 10,000 steps a day in a program they called Every Step Counts.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the January.
More and more started walking as it grew into a non-profit organization of fun-loving people who know how to enjoy life.
None of this will appear in the newspaper.
Going out and taking a walk every day made me feel stronger, healthier. I mean, it made me feel better in every way.
There's very good science behind the fact that both emotionally and physically, patients who are physically active after a cancer diagnosis are going to do better. But an organization like Every Step Counts is so important because it's physical activity, but it's also a mobile support group as well.
I think she's an amazing person. She encourages me. She's an inspiration to us all.
She's taken a very dark part of her life and turned it around into something incredibly positive.
Dede became a totally changed person and lost her passion for the corporate world.
They may pat you on the back and they may even give you a bonus, but next year they're gonna double their expectations. It was just time for me to change my focus and to something that made me happier. I guess there was a time in my life when all my friends were bankers, and now I think most of our friends are cancer survivors.
One year, a breast cancer patient named Jackie joined the group, and the paths of these two ladies finally crossed.
Yes, ma'am. As soon as somebody finishes, we'll be able to move you.
Okay.
Jackie's strength was returning as she neared the end of her treatment period.
The last day of radiation treatment was an amazing day because all I kept thinking was, woohoo, I'm technically finished.
At our hospital, it is a tradition to have patients ring a bell when they've completed treatment.
I am so happy. I'm so blessed. I'm so happy. God is what got me through this whole ordeal. If it had not been for Him, I would not have made it through. It was my faith that kept me strong. Even though I went through all of the discomforts and everything, it was worth it. With the chemotherapy, it just shrunk it so until it just completely disappeared.
When Jackie returned to work, she told her co-workers not to give her any fanfare, but they didn't listen.
Sugar over here. Give me sugar. Jackie Brown.
Now back in the swing of life, she's getting physical therapy to strengthen her arms, taking karate classes with her sons, and conducting bake sales at her church to raise money for cancer research. What had been done for her, she's doing for others.
For those of you who have just been diagnosed, don't be afraid. Stay positive. On the good days, enjoy your good days. On your bad days, if you want to cry, cry. But when the good days come, enjoy them all and enjoy the people around you.
There are going to be some aspects of your life that are better than they were before. Many people have a sort of a spiritual awakening. And some people, for the first time, just realize how lucky they are. And it's going to give you a whole new appreciation of life.